Podcasting 2.0 for February 25th, 2022, episode 75. We're liquidifying for love. And making up new words as we do it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the official board meeting of Podcasting 2.0. Everything going on at podcastindex.org, the podcast namespace, and, of course, everything that we talk about on podcastindex.social and at the water cooler. I'm Adam Curry here in the heart of the Texas Hill Country, and in Alabama, the man who wraps up your recommendations, my friend on the other end. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Mr. Dave Jones. Liquidifying for love, baby.
Invasion check. Have you been invaded? I'm not. I have not been yet.
Hold on, let me say. Is any Russians? No, I've not been invaded yet.
all clean here. I'm all clean.
Oh man, please don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I'm not.
I just recommend everybody watch Wag the Dog, and you'll know my stance on this. Have you ever seen that movie?
Crazy 48 Hours. I have not. I've always heard it's one of those things that's perpetually in the social parlance, but I've never seen it.
We should actually get that trending on Netflix because it's Dustin Hoffman. It's a comedy. It's a funny movie, but it explains so well what I think we're living through right now. Anyway, it's all right because that's why we're here, to save the world.
Yep, one podcast at a time.
That's right. While we run with scissors.
One half-ass protocol at a time.
It's anything but half-ass, Dave. Oh, the protocols are great. Man, there's so much going on. And we have a great guest on today's show, so we can bring him in pretty quickly. Is there anything specifically we need to talk about right off the top here at the board meeting? I got some kind of buzz now. What is going on? Anyway.
Well, I mean, I've been doing some stuff that hasn't been super visible over the last couple of weeks, really. I mean, there was a helipad release, but and that took some time.
That's a great release, by the way. Thank you for doing all that for the export. The CSV export is outstanding. Thanks for teaching me how to import that into Excel.
Oh yeah, sure.
With auto pivot tables. Oh.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, especially for someone who's made pivot tables, like, and I select all this, and then I got to select which inputs, and this is just like import from CSV. Oh, okay.
Well, I feel like it's stable now. I feel like there's a lot of there's bugs are a side effect of speed, mostly for the most part, and the faster you push something out the door, the less chance it gets to be tested.
Well, also you're doing this, after hours, your lunch break. I mean, this is not your prime directive.
But I feel like after, I guess this is the third release. Yeah, it's third release. I feel like we're third time's a charm, and I feel like we're pretty stable now when it comes to getting those payloads out reliably and not having any. So what had happened was, Chris Fisher over at Jupiter Broadcasting, they do like a Linux Unplugged and Linux Action News and Coder Radio. They're heavy users of Helipad now, and so he had emailed me and said, "Hey, our Helipad just stopped updating, and this is the standard bug now.
Right,
Helipad just died. It just stopped."
Well, now I've seen some of this can also just be Umbrel. A lot of people running Umbrels, and they do have their issues.
Well, what was unique about this one is he said, I'm looking at, I opened up so these are coders, these are developers, which is amazing to work with. When you have other coders giving you bug reports is beautiful because they don't just say like, hey, it didn't work.
Oh, come on. I'm better than that.
No, I'm not talking about you.
No, they say, hey, I think you're getting trapped here on an escaped character that was unicoded 3 centuries ago.
Yeah, they give you all kinds of context. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely, luscious context. And so like he said, hey, Helipad stopped updating, but I know we're getting boost because I opened up the SQLite database.
You're right. That's
and I see new entries, and I was like, yeah, there we go. And so it turned out that the issue was, so I was stripping there's a couple things for safety within Helipad, because I mean, Helipad is a JavaScript-based, single-page app, and so what you want, what you have is a scenario where you have random people on the internet sending you content.
Right. Yes.
You have to play defense.
Emojis. That was amazing. The emojis worked. I mean, that by itself was such a crazy experience.
Yeah. So the first, prime directive number one when it comes to protecting your JavaScript from random user generated content is, tag stripping within HTML.
Right. Okay. Got it.
You definitely want to cleanse that. You don't want just anybody to be able to send you random HTML tags and then render them. So I handled that a couple of ways. I built a strip tags function, excuse me, that would strip out HTML tags in the message content. But what I was doing with that was actually running it over the entire JSON block after that was rendered, since JSON is not since the greater than less than characters are not special characters within JSON. I'm like, okay, I can just run that on the JSON block, and that'll take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll take care of stripping tags out of everything. If somebody decided to get cute and put a script tag in their name field, yeah, great stuff.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, that's not. In retrospect, clearly that has an issue. So the issue that was happening was somebody sent them a message, and they had the little ASCII emoji in the message of the heart, which is less than sign 3.
Mm-hmm.
So a sideways heart. Well, that's an open tag that never closes.
Oh man. Okay. That's obscure. Nice.
And the effect it had was that
might have been me. I'm always doing hearts with ASCII.
Yeah, I do that too. It's amazing that didn't hit my brain as a problem. But anyway, so that clearly is a problem because you open a tag and never close it. So it would just wipe out the end of the JSON. There was half a JSON block in there. So it would just totally screw it up.
Oh man.
Anyway, went back and cleared that up, did proper escape, at field level escaping on all the tags and put that and implemented that as a trait.
So now is this now a GitHub project where people can start contributing? Is someone, yeah. I don't want it to default to you, but I mean, is this now going to be enhanced? I mean, a lot of people have great ideas. Hopefully some coders can do some stuff because, man.
Yeah. A couple of people have already forked it and are adding some stuff, and we've already had a couple contributions to it that have been merged in. Yeah. It's
excellent.
Definitely an open project. Anybody can stick whatever they want to in there as long as it makes some sense.
Nice.
And it's a good release. And I think the CSV export, there's a couple of bugs I found in that as a result of you sending me your database, because your database is so big it lets.
That's what she said. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Your database is so big that it gave lots of opportunity for
crap
content. For junky content. I just wasn't prepared to start posting bug reports yet, but there's definitely some apps do put things in different fields, particularly if there's longer messages. Some things get, like, I think the podcast name sometimes gets switched around. That could be in the export for some reason, or it could be the way some apps, and I think Podfriend might send something weird sometimes. But I'll have to look deeper. I just looked at the Excel sheet and I remember, like, oh, this isn't the wrong field. Like recently with this new release?
Yeah.
Send me a screenshot, because the CSV, that sounds like, if you have a field appearing in a different place, that sounds like something with the parsing of, I'm having to create all this CSV junk by hand. So it's possible that a delimiter is sneaking through in a place that's not getting escaped properly or something.
Right. Okay.
Something.
But I mean, it's a small thing. Actually, I'm opening it up now. Let me just see if I can see it offhand.
Yeah. If you can pinpoint it, I can probably tell pretty quick what it is and fix it.
Yeah. It's Podfriend. Okay. Podfriend. Interesting. Comic strip blogger, Podfriend, and then he has, of course, under the message, of course. You don't know how funny that is to me. Under message, howdy, Tina and Adam, and then under that's what's changed. Instead of the podcast saying Curry and the Keeper, it continues with the rest of his message. Greetings from Eurotrash continent. Wait, I have to do his voice. Greetings from Eurotrash continent. I wish you fast recovery from Corona. If you're bored, feel free to visit my blog, comicstripblog.com. Yo. And then under episode, it continues. Otherwise, just relax. Don't boost too much, as only Slavs like me and Gene are genetically alcohol resistant.
Alcohol resistant.
So, and then it moves.
All that's in the podcast name field.
Yeah, and then it moves Curry and the Keeper and Kerrville Koof to different fields to the column one. To other fields in the Excel. Okay. So it sounds like a delimiter.
Screenshot.
Okay. Yes. Dick pics are illegal now in the UK, so I got to be careful what I send you.
Yes. Yeah. I can. I bet it's funny. There must be some. I don't know how that could happen. The funny thing about bugs is you never know how they happen until you find them, and then you're like, "Oh, there it is."
I'll just send you the CSV file. You can take a look at it yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Beautiful.
That's probably the easiest. Well, since we're talking about messaging, actually, before we bring in our guest, I just wanted to mention one thing. I was listening to Podland, as I do. I was boosting Podland, I should say. Mm-hmm. I'm a hate booster.
Oh, did you find something to hate?
Oh, no, well, not hate, but I'm always like, no, this is wrong. Here's 3,333 sats that proves that you're wrong.
You can use that podcasters can use that to their benefit.
Well, remember, we monetize trolls with Podcasting 2.0. This is our moniker.
That's the new T-shirt. Yes.
Yeah, we certainly monetize trolls. But there was one discussion which I just wanted to say something about and get your input on. And I had seen James's his proposal for a replacement for the owner email tag in the RSS feed.
Yes. Okay. I would like to talk about that as well.
Yeah. Okay. I have two things to say about it. One, are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, really. I mean, I've had my name and my email address in my feed for 15 years. And the only thing that doesn't even bother me is I get lots of, publicists and PR people I get on their mailing list. And then these lists are created and they're shared. And quite honestly, I look at it, it's usually podcasting related. And a lot of it is like, hey, here's a new service. Here's this, here's that. And now if I wanted to, I could put a different email address in there and, so that, that it would go to a different box if that was a big problem. It is by far the easiest way to identify ownership. There's issues with idiots who lose email access, but the same can be said for a token. And also, I believe that the spec cannot be fucked with.
What is the spec?
The RSS 2.0.
Yeah, but email's not. But email's not a required tag.
Oh, you don't have to put it in. You can not put anything in at all. Oh, then fine. Then leave it out. You get no spam. Yeah. And then you can't certify or claim your feed. Tough shit.
Well, I vehemently disagree.
Okay.
And here's why. Bunch of reasons. Mm-hmm. Number one, legal, because if you have to validate an email, then you have to store it in some way. And once you do that, then you have to start following things like GDPR and that kind of thing with personal content. For a legal reason, it's much cleaner if you can just avoid ever dealing with an email address and only deal with some sort of app, handshake. I think that makes the OAuth or app handshake validation process a lot easier to deal with for people who don't want to have to deal with regulation. that would be the first one that jumps to mind. The second one is that this could be combined. This can actually make it easier to do other things also if you have a pass-through sort of handshake situation. One of the things that we've been talking about for a while is a sort of an open subscription mechanism where you can allow people to claim a subscription to a feed. And I've been looking through PodPass. Now that's a spec that was designed. It came out of Radio Public, and I'm not sure who the actual creator of it was, but it was. Let's see who was it. I think Mike Caden over at Red Circle sent this to me originally, because we were talking about as Jake Shapiro, who's now at Apple, but he was at Radio Public when this came out. This is a protocol for how to do the same sort of handshake thing, where you can say, okay, here's a subscription only podcast. Here's this private podcast that I want to subscribe to. I've actually already subscribed to it. I subscribed to it on this other service.
Okay, stop.
Yes.
We can agree on this very easily. It's just an addition and not a replacement.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good with that. I love having my email address in my feed. I love getting... The problem here is not the spam. The problem is a competitor spammed a company spammed a competitor's clients, targeted them specifically, which is, considered, I guess, not gentlemanly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when it became a problem, not for the thousands of spams I've received. That no one ever complained until it became a problem because people are doing guerrilla marketing with it. Correct?
From the standpoint, well,
that's what the story started there. The story started with, oh my God, I can't believe Acast spammed all of Buzzsprout's customers and said you should leave Buzzsprout.
Well, no, yes, no, that's the
story,
yes.
though.
That is the story. But if you step back and broaden it out to and not just that story, which was a douche move to do, but if you step back and say, okay, now what is, you called it a problem. You said it's not a problem unless, until it becomes this guerrilla marketing thing. Well, it depends on how you define problem, because problem can also subjective. Be legal issues with GDPR.
But it's subjective. Yeah. I hadn't thought about GDPR, but it's subjective. What is it? What a problem is. I'm all for an additional namespace tag with authentication. I have no problem with that. I just had a problem with the stories. Like, everyone's whining about this. And I love the guys at Buzzsprout as much as I love everybody else. But it's like, okay, it really wasn't a huge news item and issue until Acast just why don't we the news story is attention, Acast are assholes. That's the news story. That's it. And then everything else, so I just want to move it away from the email and say, why don't we just create a better way to authenticate, because there's all these benefits. Maybe that's all I care about.
Well, Acast said that they love OpenRSS. That's what they've been saying for a while, and now we know why.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
It gives them free email addresses.
What I'm saying is that every company spams me. And, Spotify spams me, and Google spams me, and Amazon spams me. And I don't mind, because I might not have found out about this wonderful opportunity. It's pretty damn targeted.
What? Oh, you talking about in
emails?
The opportunity
Emails based upon what's in my feed. It's like, hey, podcaster, and I know exactly how they got my email.
I understand where you're coming from, because I understand where you're coming from. The big thing is that you can't stop spam ever. So there's a little bit of why even try involved here. And if you get utility out of it, why are you trying to fight? Put your finger in the dam to stop all the leaks.
Yeah, but also, if you really want to get my attention, send me a Boostagram.
No, yeah, sure.
That's what Acast should be doing.
Open up Breez and send the Boostagram.
Speaking of that, such, so we bring our guest into the boardroom right now, because he's been sitting patiently on the sidelines. It's very late where he lives.
Oh, do we have a guest? Yes, please, by all means.
We have a guest, ladies and gentlemen. We've tried to get him on before. He's very elusive. We're not sure if he's a founder, the co-founder, the CEO, or if he's actually all the dev guys on the GitHub as well. Please say hello to Roy Sheinfeld from Breez.
Hey, Adam. Hey, Dave.
Hey, Roy.
What's up, guys?
Man, I've been trying to get you on forever, dude.
Come on, that's not fair, guys. You know that.
No, of course, but who said we're fair? We're podcasters.
That's right. Israel based, so Breez is unique amongst all of the podcast apps that or podcasting 2.0 apps, I'll say, in the sense that y'all were a wallet first and then added podcasting later, which is very different from what most of the podcasting 2.0 apps have done. I guess I want to know, first of all, like how has it gone? How has you committed a lot of dev time to this to put podcasting into the Breez wallet? And I mean, have you gotten a decent return on it? Hold on a second. But before you answer that, Roy, I don't even remember how we connected and how you started doing it anymore. Do you mind, Dave? If we just get do you remember, Dave?
I don't know. I think someone connected us, Adam, and we got on a call, and I saw the light and started working on podcasting 2.0. I think that's how it happened.
Okay. I wonder if it was Paul over at Sphinx.
But was it Paul? It might have been Paul. I think it was Paul.
Maybe. Yeah. Perhaps.
Okay. Sorry. But back to the question. How's it been going?
How it's been going? By the way, I don't call Breez a wallet, Dave. I never called Breez a wallet, even when it was just a wallet. I don't think. Yeah.
It's a point of sale application. Is that fair?
No, not really. I didn't call it a wallet even before we had a point of sale interface.
It's a portable Lightning node.
Technically. But for users, I hate the word wallet. In the context of Lightning, I really hate the term wallet. It's so technical. And so what I want to do with Breez and what I think we all in the Lightning ecosystem should do, we want to get adoption, right? And no one calls Venmo a wallet. No one calls PayPal a wallet. People don't care about wallets. People want to pay for stuff.
Excellent point.
So I see Breez as a payment service. So you can ask me why I added podcasting 2.0 to our payment service, but not to our wallet.
Okay. All right. I understand fully that makes perfect sense, because if you understand why you add podcasting to it, because podcasting needs a payment service. And so it was a perfect complement.
Exactly. Man. Exactly. So Breez is all about like creating peer-to-peer economy. And that's why we started the idea behind Breez was to help Bitcoin do this transformation from a store of value to a medium exchange. And what we tried to do with Breez is to explore the ways people can interact in a peer-to-peer manner with the Lightning economy. So we started with like a generic send-receive payments where people can send payments and receive payments from their friends. Then we added the point of sale interface, because Lightning enables everyone to become a merchant without having a bank account. And then after our meeting with Adam, after Adam was so charming and compelling, we added podcasting 2.0. I think podcasting 2.0 is an amazing use case for the Lightning economy.
I was going to ask you, most wannabe payment services, unlike yours, which is the payment service, they have a point of sale app. And in fact, a lot of, I think the first applications of any Lightning app that I ever saw was point of sale and roulette. Is point of sale being used a lot?
It's being used not a lot. It's like I would say like 10 to 20% of our users use Breez as a point of sale, but there are the most heavy users. So the people that are relying on Breez as a point of sale are our most active users and our most demanding users. And I think a lot of our traffic is really associated with our point of sale interface.
I also see a lot of LN URL activity in your groups.
Yeah, because LN URL, I think it's a great addition to what the web services has to offer, and people are using that. It's just a better user experience for interacting with Lightning.
Do you use your Breez to listening to all your podcasts?
Can I tell you a secret?
You don't listen to podcasts, do you?
I don't listen. No, I don't.
No.
I'm a reader.
You're a reader. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're also a very good writer. And I always look forward to a good Roy article, because I know I can just sit down with coffee and read for 30 minutes, because you have nice, long, well thought out articles. And the one you dropped yesterday is no exception.
Yeah, the Lightning in the Liquidity Network.
Yeah, and there's one thing in here you said that I highlighted last night as I was reading through it, and you said, when routing nodes optimize their local liquidity allocation, everyone benefits from a better network. Collective benefits result from the decisions of self-regarding individuals. And you were saying this in sort of context of like Adam Smith and the invisible hand of the market. But this feels like the struggle right now, and I want to get your thought on this. It feels like there's this sort of the Lightning Network has grown really fast, and whenever you have sort of hyper growth over a short period of time, it really, people have to stop and breathe and figure out what is going on. And I think what is happening now, from my sense, is that there's a sort of liquidity allocation discovery process going on, where people are trying to figure out what their channels need to look like, how much fee to charge, all these kinds of things. Is that kind of what you're trying to say there? Yes,
exactly. So you're calling me out, kind of. The reason that I wrote the article is really because I think we're seeing lately there's a growing percentage of failed payments, and it's not because nodes are not connected. Nodes are connected, but if there's a payment if there's a Lightning payment and the payment has failed, meaning there's a route, but the payment didn't went through the route, it means liquidity was misallocated. And the reason I wrote this article is to show that we need to start thinking about Lightning as a liquidity network, and people need to start thinking about better ways to allocate their liquidity. And the how is a challenge. And also that's another reason for me writing this article. I want more better tooling to be in place, and we don't have splicing layer, peer swap, and we can drill down to the tools, to the specific tools that you guys want.
Okay, I need to ask a question about this, because I'm glad you brought it up, Dave. So I'm kind of in charge of the podcast index node. So I set it up, so I was early on, and the idea we always had was, we need to make these micropayments work, and the majority of users who come into podcasting 2.0, and we're in such early days, there's so many pioneers and very brave people who are buying Raspberry Pis and setting up nodes and loading Umbrel onto old laptops, and people are really, really excited. And the biggest problem we, of course, hit when someone has finally synced the blockchain for 57 hours, and they're like, okay, I've opened a channel, and then, of course, they have no inbound liquidity. And what Podcast Index has done consistently is every Satoshi we get, we save, and we turn into liquidity. And this has been something Dave and I have been talking about also in the board meeting for the past couple of weeks. So basically someone buys someone installs Umbrel on an old laptop, and we're putting, $100 of liquidity to that person, which is, it turns out, is not very efficient. And the way I've been looking at making it more, and your article is really good, and I really appreciate it, because what it told me was I'm on the right path of making our kind of local issue work for us, whereas I've always been concerned about like the connections, more, as you said, more than the liquidity. And so I made some fundamental changes as an experiment, because we route a lot, but we're not making a lot of money. And I want to make sure the microtransactions go through cleanly and easily. So, the interim changes I've made is because we're connected, we do have some big channels. People would be like, oh, I'm going to rebalance through these fuckers over here. And then we have, all of these, 250,000 sat channels getting completely screwed and people don't know what to do.
Exactly.
So what I've done is I've taken away the base fee at 0 to incentivize the micropayments, and I've upped the percentage fee significantly. And that has what I saw, and I'm not sure, it's only been a few days, channels almost auto-magically started to be better balanced. I don't know why, but it just seems like probably 30% balanced better, and by themselves, I didn't do anything. And
because the channels don't get depleted by the large transactions.
Right. And we were definitely making more in fees, which I think is important. And now I have to kind of figure out, and maybe you can help, or we can just talk about it. Do I need to categorize types of users and their usage and calculate fees based upon them on individual channels, or is it something I should do across the board? I mean, it's kind of scary, because I'm at any given moment like, will this fee that I'm changing here, will it make a payment fail? A payment of, like 10 sats, will it screw that up?
Yeah, I think one of the best practices is to analyze the flows. Like, what are the flows that you want to control? What are the flows that you are must have in your mind, and like set the right fees for these flows. I think what you're doing is exactly right. But I think let's take a step back. Like, rebalancing is bad. No one should rebalance their channels using the existing tools. That's the honest truth. Because when you rebalance your channels inside the Lightning Network, it means you're screwing up the liquidity
of everybody, of lots of people. But we get in that loop a lot, and it's usually people with really good intentions who all of a sudden are sending 5 million sats through a ring of fire, which I'm okay with all of that, and I think it's fun to do. But then one thing screws up, and then there's all these little nodes of it's just like, whoa, where did it go?
Exactly, and I'm doing that as well, like with the Breez node, but that's because of lack of better tools. I think I'm pointing out in the article one of the tools that I think needs to be in place is a peer swap, and a peer swap is a way to rebalance your channels by doing an off-chain to an on-chain swap, and then you're not damaging the liquidity of other channels, because there's no like circular rebalancing going on. It's just you're controlling a specific channel, and you can say, I'm moving liquidity to the other side of the channel. How do I do that? By doing an on-chain transaction.
Right. Now that's doable. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's doable really because, and I'm not sure if I'm talking to people who may not understand Lightning a whole lot either, is if I'm not mistaken, then every Lightning transaction is a valid on-chain transaction also. So that on-chain transaction can be, you could theoretically, if the tooling and everything were correct, you could bump that, you could go on-chain enough to do that liquidity swap temporary without having to bring the whole channel down and back up. Is that right?
No, not really. It's true that any Lightning transaction is also a Bitcoin transaction, but it only takes effect when you close the channel. If you want to keep the channel open, the way to do this off-chain to on-chain transaction is by doing a swap. That's one option, and an atomic swap. But in atomic swap, you're not closing the channel, and you're not using the same Lightning transaction as the on-chain transaction. What you're actually doing is sending a Lightning transaction. You're using a concept called the hold invoice, meaning you're not settling the Lightning transaction until another completely different on-chain transaction is executed. Once you know this on-chain transaction is executed, you settle the Lightning transaction. It's called an atomic swap.
All right. So
Gotcha.
You could also just walk over to someone's house, give them $50 and say, shoot some sats my way.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But you do that in a trustless manner.
Right.
That's the thing with an atomic swap. By the way, Breez has a built-in atomic swap inside the app. When you receive on-chain transaction in Breez, it's actually an on-chain to off-chain swap. And when you send the funds outside the wallet to an on-chain address, we're doing an off-chain to on-chain swap, and everything is trustless. Like you don't have to trust Breez in that scenario. It's called the submarine swaps. And every node that the thing is, and the problem is that the nodes don't expose the service, meaning they don't have an atomic swap service to expose to other nodes, so no one can actually do that. And there's a new tool developed by Blockstream called PeerSwap. It's basically an extension to your node, where you can set up another service on top of your Lightning node, where you tell other nodes in the network, you can swap with me. And when you swap with them, you have a direct channel with them, it actually moves the liquidity to the other side of the channel. And no other channels are part of this process. It's just taking this liquidity and sending this liquidity on-chain. So I think we need a tool like that is a must. Mm-hmm. And another tool that is a must in order to optimize liquidity is splicing. So splicing is a way to take a channel and change its capacity without closing it. So I can increase liquidity or decrease liquidity in an existing channel without closing it, and reallocate the liquidity elsewhere.
So does that that involves having a new address though, right? On the on-chain side.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess from what I've seen of splicing, I think C Lightning is the only one that has some version of that at the moment. Is that right?
No one has a version of splicing at the moment. I think C Lightning are the most active on developing it. They have like an initial version of it. C Lightning developed dual funded channels, and dual funded channel is kind of a basic version of splicing, but it requires more development in order to add splicing to C Lightning. But I think they will pioneer it. I think they will be the first implementation to support.
I'm hearing a lot about C Lightning, and just so everybody knows, Lightning Labs doesn't control the Lightning network, although you think they do. You think they do.
Well, they have the Lightning handle in Twitter, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, that it says it's good for something. What are the main differences? So C Lightning is a different implementation. What are the main differences? I've seen it now show up. I think the new version of the Raspberry Blitz has both LND and C Lightning in it. What are some of the main differences or benefits of one over the other, and how would that maybe affect podcasting?
So that's a great question. So I think there are 3-4 major implementations in Lightning, and the main there's a couple of differences between them. Mainly the programming language. C Lightning is written in C, and LND is written in Go. The async implementation is written in Scala.
That's ACINQ. That's the French guys.
Yes, yes. And there's the LEK guys who was for writing a Lightning library in Rust. So I think that's the major Lightning implementations to date. C Lightning, I think there are very they're trying to be very efficient. So from a performance standpoint, Rusty Russell, who is developing, is part of the C Lightning development team. He was doing the networking stuff back in the day on Linux. He's very knowledgeable about performance, memory, all the stuff. They're very memory efficient, very, very networking efficient, and they're putting a lot of emphasis on that. But they're also, I think, trying to be as open and standard as much as possible. So they're always like cutting edge when it comes to specifications and standardization. For example, they're trying to push a new standard called Bolt 12 that will be an addition to Bolt 11, where people will be able to send payments to others without an invoice. I think that's the basic use case of Bolt 12.
Except it won't be key send and won't rely upon the same type of luck to get through?
Yes, exactly. So Keysend, by the way, the LND was the first to implement Keysend, and I'm glad that they did, because it unlocked all the use cases of podcasting 2.0 is just one example, but other use cases as well. And now there's and they replaced Keysend or added to Keysend with their AMP implementation, but they didn't try to push it as part of the Lightning standard. Anything that will be successful and well adopted
has to be in the spec.
Has to be in the standard, has to be in the spec. And C Lightning are trying to push Bolt 12. C Lightning are the only one to implement dual funded channels. C Lightning has its issues. I think there's a reason most of the nodes are running LND. And I think one of the main constraints in C Lightning was the fact that they didn't support multiple channels per peer, meaning you can only open one channel per peer. And so there's a reason most of the nodes are running LND. It's not just documentation, not just tooling, but it's also like weird constraints that C Lightning had. I think they're going to improve that. By the way,
is that no? But Breez is based on LND, right?
Yeah. Okay. Breez is based on LND. The reason Breez is based on LND is because Breez runs a node inside of your mobile device, and the C Lightning implementation. I don't know if you know, Dave. You probably know that it's like the Unix Linux architecture of running processes, like one process. So one process spawns another process, and you don't have this multi-process capabilities in mobile. So we actually couldn't use C Lightning as part of our stack because we had to turn LND into a library. So it was possible to take the LND implementation and create a library out of it, but it was impossible to do that for C Lightning because of this multi-process architecture that they used.
It's really quite amazing what Breez is doing. I mean, aside from from like a key send receive, which is not possible on mobile for multiple reasons. I mean, it really is fun to just drop down the command line sometimes. It's like I check routes and everything. Breez really becomes my toolbox. And just to see if and it feels really good to have that kind of access to your full node, but it is kind of freakish. That's not your general use case, I'm sure. I mean, it's like, hey, I can't wait to do a route check in my Breez app. Something that's so, and without a doubt, there's it's kind of fun. Well, fun. It's interesting to watch. We resolve ideas and thoughts and disputes all in a Mastodon setting. I don't know exactly how this goes in the Lightning development world, but there's lots of rumblings and there's people getting kind of nasty with each other, and there's a little bit of a flame war, I guess. What are the real problems, and are they problems we need to be thinking of? Is there Are there solutions that are going to get better for what we're trying to do with value for value streaming payments? I'm saying that specifically because I see this working for music and for books and many, many other things. And I guess we should probably move that into the realm of messaging, because that seems to be one of the big disputes.
Yes. So I think you touched on a very important point. I think the kind of the standardization process, when we started, by the way, we started in mid 2018. There was a standard process, the bold process in place. It's still in place, but it moved very quickly, very efficiently in 2018 and in 2019. And the process kind of halted in 2020, late 2020, more 2021, and still. And it is slow moving. And can you guess the reason for that?
The pandemic.
No, I don't. It's probably not
COVID.
Pandemic. No,
COVID.
No,
Yes.
you don't get to you don't get to use COVID as an excuse.
I
You
will
use it every week.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. And I think because people are not being able to meet face to face and hash their issues face to face.
Yep.
I think it creates an issue, and I think all the stuff that we're seeing now is a result of miscommunication. That and there's like kind of a war right now in the last couple of days in Twitter, where there was an email from Alex Bosworth from L&D, and Rusty is calling out Alex and L&D, and the async folks are also joined the party with calling out L&D, and I think I know all the teams personally, and I think everyone wants the best for Lightning. Maybe they have different constraints and different structures to execute on that, but I think we're talking about good people with a lot of motivation to contribute and have an open standard network. And I think that the reason that it isn't really it hasn't been working lately is because of the people are not communicating, not working with each other.
Well, they're yelling at each other on Twitter. That's pretty much the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, but maybe it's a good thing. Like the only way is up from here.
So what is the core problem? I mean, is because the spec isn't moving forward?
Yeah, Bolt 12. Yeah,
Right.
Lightning. Yeah, Lightning Labs is not embracing Bolt 12 as fast as I think everybody wants them to. Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, if you look at Alex's email, Alex basically said like. Maybe we don't need a standardization. I'm rephrasing, but maybe we don't need standardization process because we can push out the features that we want to push and focus on the things we want to push because we own and we like users. 90+% of the nodes are running on L&D. So why do we care?
Right.
Again, I'm rephrasing. I don't remember the exact words, but I think that's why people got upset. But if you continue to read Alex's email, he raises legitimate concerns around Bolt 12, and I think that goes back to what you asked Adam regarding messaging, because part of the Bolt 12 specification, we need an ability to communicate between peers. So there are new types of onion messaging where people can nodes can send other nodes messages, and Alex is worried, and frankly I'm worried as well that these messages will be used as a generic messaging infrastructure.
Yeah, I think a lot of this goes to me. This argument in the Lightning world, or this debate in the Lightning world, is very similar to the debate within Bitcoin Core about whether or not to increase block size. They feel very similar to me because there's a legitimate concern about Lightning, because people trying to stuff things into Lightning messaging that really should not be there. And because as soon as you open up a generic channel for doing things like binary transfers over Lightning network, then
we're going to do podcasting over Lightning Network. Can we do an attachment?
Everybody can see where that becomes a shit
the
show.
reason I blame COVID, Dave, is because I think no one wants that, by the way. There's no single implementation that wants to use Lightning as a generic messaging platform or a generic messaging infrastructure. Not C Lightning, not Async, not LND, and not LEK. No one wants that. There needs to be, to some degree, messaging capabilities in order to enable payment features. So we need to execute on that very carefully, and we need to add that to the standard and to the specification. But we need to make sure these tools and these new utilities aren't being abused.
Isn't Boostagramming by itself kind of abusing that then?
No, I don't think so. I think Boostagrams is a great addition to Lightning because it uses something called TLV. And TLV is an extension to a payment. You can't boost without a payment, right?
Correct.
So I think it utilized the core functionality of Lightning.
Yeah, I'm reading the email now. By the way, it's badass to post somebody's email in a VI session with the numbers on the side. That's pretty cool. That's nerdy right there. But I guess the some of the dispute is about no cost peer-to-peer messaging.
Again, I don't think to be honest, I don't think there's a real dispute because no one wants Lightning to be used as a generic messaging infrastructure, and no one wants Lightning to become the new.
Can I just say something, Roy? Every single developer who has been at Podcasting 2.0 who has seen this work, and particularly with Helipad, the first thing they all want to do is create a reply button. And that's my intuition too. It's I want to reply to these messages.
Why not? But you can, if you pay for them, I'm fine with that because it means that the routing nodes have incentives.
Okay.
People need to understand.
We want that. I want people to hate boost me. I want you to tell me that I suck and send me 10,000 sats. That's the whole point.
Exactly. So that's the reason I like Boostagram. And by the way, what we did in Breez is to put Boostagram as like the default boost.
Very confusing, Mr. Roy.
Okay.
Do you know how many times I go to the Breez app and I hold down the button and it goes because I'm thinking a message is going to pop up? You broke my UX, brother. I'm like, oh my God, sorry. I just boosted 8,000 sats in one go. That happens with early adopters. Oh my God. Every other app that does it exactly the opposite way.
I wouldn't worry too much about it because they do what we do at the end.
Oh man, did you hear that Mossad shit, Dave? That was harsh, man. We have ways of making you do what we want.
I think with apps like Helipad, I think Boostagram is really the way to communicate between listeners and podcasters, and I think this feature need to be exposed. So that was our way to expose it.
Well, I love that you put it in there. Obviously, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Tell me this though. Tell me one question I have is why did you limit or decide to limit the Boostagram length to 90 characters? Was that just pick off the top of your head, or what was the thinking there?
The thinking is, again, it goes back to, are we using Lightning as a messaging platform? I don't want to spam the network too much with too much data. So I don't want to like DDoS attacks, and I want to protect I wanted to protect the infrastructure and the platform. Okay. Is that what's the message? Like I listened to the beginning to the Boostagram that Adam received. I guess maybe we need to increase the size of the Boostagram.
It's a little short. It's a little short in Breez. Yeah.
What I've seen a lot is that the standard seems to be roughly about the size of a a Twitter to Mastodon message, like between 250 to 500 characters, roughly.
Okay.
250 is okay. 250 is fine for me, honestly, because
yeah.
on the receiving end of this stuff, you give people a bucket, they're going to fill it up.
Exactly.
And I agree with you. And the spirit of a Boostagram is short, and I really love keeping that short. But I run now. There's something to be said for what you're doing there, because I have literally Boostagrammed twice to get my message in. So I'm not saying that I'm against the idea of limiting that, because it does kind of force you into doing it again.
Mm-hmm. So with 90 characters, there's no question. Like I'm sure the network can handle it, and I'm not worried about it. With 256, or I don't know how many characters, I would go and check with L&D and check with Sea Lightning. What do they think? Like if that's a good number to use. Because at the end of the day, keep in mind there is additional information that we send as part of this payment. It's not just the Boostagram,
right?
It's also the timestamp, the podcast name, the podcast episode. Yeah. Like there's a bunch of data.
Yeah, Comics Rip Blogger just sends entire books with his Boostagrams, and it screws up everything.
It was the best of times. It was the worst.
But these are really quality problems to have, and I'm kind of enjoying. I'm very much enjoying the conversation. And there was a second part to John Spurlock was also on Podland and talking about, because Roy, we're doing cross app comments. And there was actually a remark made that said, well, it's not really a good thing. We already have messaging with Boostagrams, and, comments may be confusing. And I thought to myself, no, it's two separate things. It's really, but I can also see a use case where, like a super chat on YouTube, Boostagrams show up in the chat. Mm-hmm. Or maybe there's a way for us to say, okay, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe you could say, "Oh, you have to pay to post here." Kind of like the Sphinx model, which I don't know if that's technically possible, but there's definitely integrations there, although it's two separate things. Mm-hmm. Dave.
So, yeah.
No, what were you gonna say? I was wondering if you had any thoughts on it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, no, I think they're two separate things. Like, I think, like, I don't know, Roy, if you saw, you probably didn't. We did like a live test. So we did a test of the live tag.
I saw. I'm following Adam on Twitter, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and so we did that live last Sunday, and what Sir Spencer had done, and I don't think it was him. I think it was C-Dubs or somebody like that. They had created a bot to accept to watch the gRPC stream coming out of L&D, and then as those boosts came into the node, people would boost to the live stream through a podcast app, and then as those boosts came in, it would translate them into an IRC chat message.
Yeah, sexy as hell. It was
great.
Hell.
So you end up with what literally it looks exactly like a YouTube super chat style thing going on in a video.
Little bot with little asterisks, like I'm a bot, and here's the message. It was beautiful.
Yeah, and to me that's fun. A use case like that is fundamentally different than something like a cross app comment, which is meant to be sort of permanent, whereas the other things are where the live chat is like a more ephemeral.
But just shooting from the hip here, just as a nutty idea, since we're looking at since we're looking at ActivityPub, we are actively using ActivityPub for the cross app comments. Is there a way to tie in like a payment portion to that? So it may be totally unnecessary, but I always enjoyed the Sphinx idea of it costs you 10 sats to post a message. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to tie in payments into ActivityPub? And that's more of a lightning question, I guess, than a podcasting 2.0 question.
Yeah, I mean, anything with a gateway, you just have to have some sort of gateway to go in and out. I mean, that's really where this is sort of, let me back into this because I do have a question to Roy that I think is kind of related to this. And it was something that's been, we've been trying to figure out. And I say, what I mean by we is various people I've talked to in the podcasting world. We've been trying to, and this just kind of keeps coming up, trying to figure out a way to make all this stuff work where it's legal and all the custodian, people want to, you're dealing with funds here. You're dealing with financial things. And so, like Breez can't accept key send payments. So what we've been left with is things like LN Pay, and
custodial versus non-custodial.
Yeah. Custodial versus non-custodial. And so I'm less interested in that sort of idea, the custodial, non-custodial, than just this more direct question, which is, can all of these things be done long-term, in a way that doesn't require like custodial liquidity? And what I mean is like for instance, what Adam described earlier with the podcast index node is a podcaster comes online with an Umbrel or a Raspberry Blitz, and we open up 100,000 sat channel to them to give them some inbound liquidity. And that's fine, except that it's not efficient use of liquidity, and that you end up with a single node that has 150 channels. But the only way I can imagine to get around that is through custodial level liquidity, where you have something like LN Pay,
which has its own problems. During the live, we saw that it had its own issues of overload, literally.
But you need some central thing there that has 10 million sats of liquidity. So I
think we're talking to the right guy. I think the Lightning service provider, this is his job, although I don't know what he does.
I don't do anything really. Yeah.
I know. I still don't know what you do. You're just on the Telegram all day, as far as I'm concerned. You may not even work for Breez. You may just be their PR guy.
I wish. So yeah, I think you're getting to the heart of the issues with the Lightning today. By the way, that's the reason I started Breez. I started Breez because I believe we can create a non-custodial user experience that is on par with what custodial solution has to offer. So what I think needs to happen is this notion of an LSP, a Lightning service provider, kind of the entity that connects end users to the network. We need more LSPs, and we need competition of LSPs that will bring the prices down. But for me, let's talk about user experience. Okay, why when you use Breez, what's the main difference between Breez and a custodial wallet? The main difference and the main caveat is you can't receive an offline payment using Breez. And that's because mobile nodes are mostly offline. That's the real.
Can you explain what you mean by an offline payment?
Yeah. So Breez runs a node as part. So let's talk about custodial solutions. Okay.
Yeah, please.
When you have a wallet like a wallet of Satoshi, or let's say a Blue Wallet, until they're switching to LDK. But let's talk about their existing offering. It's a custodial Lightning solution, meaning they use one node or multiple nodes, but they use their own nodes in order to manage the funds, and users are just entry in a database somewhere.
Right.
So they know how to split the funds between different users based on their own accounting, and they can tap into your funds. They can steal your funds. They can do with your funds whatever they like. So you're trusting them to manage your funds, and they have total control of your funds. And this is, for me, that's not Bitcoin, right?
Or worse, just to explain it even better. You might have donated $50 to some protest that might have involved some truckers, and the government of Canada goes and says, "Hey, we don't want that shit happening," and they go straight to your Blue Wallet guys or whatever, and they say, "Cut them all off."
Yeah, of course, and they can seize the funds. I think,
right, which is a real thing. Is my point? Is that's happening right now in our world?
Mm-hmm. That's happening on exchanges, and that will happen on custodial wallets. By the way, it's wrong to call custodial wallets. It's more accounts when you talk about custodial.
Yes, a login. You got to log in.
Exactly. So whenever you have an account, your funds in the account can be seized. I'm not even talking about the privacy and this kind of issues. Just like the custodial part, the having control over your funds. So what we sought out to do in Breez is to provide a non-custodial solution that will be on par in terms of user experience when it comes to Lightning payments. So in Breez right now, when you receive funds, we actually open a channel on the fly to end users, and we use the funds that we receive in order to fund this channel. Mm-hmm. So unlike what you guys are doing with Podcasting 2.0, we don't just give. We provide an additional amount of inbound liquidity, but the most of the liquidity actually comes from our users. And we're using zero-conf channels in order to provide them with the ability to spend the funds immediately after receiving.
Right.
I think that's the main difference. So liquidity actually in our use case comes from users. And Phoenix and Moon are doing the same. And I think, yeah.
I was going to say, so the liquidity providers version 1.0 was like these services where you can, pay 10% or whatever, and you get a channel for a month. That was kind of the early version of liquidity providers.
I think the early version of liquidity providers that, by the way, we actually implemented in Breez is that we opened the 1 million Satoshi channel to end user for free. That was version.
That's a bad business model.
Yeah, but we did that on purpose in order to learn and to understand the use cases and how people are using Lightning.
Yeah, that's where we're at now. Exactly. We're also figuring it out now. Like, okay, how are people using it? But all of this could go away for us is what I'm hearing you say.
So what I'm saying is that when you create channels on the fly, you can reuse the liquidity being sent to users in order to open the channels. You don't open the channels up front. You open the channel as a reaction to receiving
funding the node.
Funds.
Yeah.
Yes. So that mitigates this kind of issue.
Right, and so that's where you take a small percentage for opening the channel. You take that of the initial funding. Okay, yeah, well, that's great. That makes total sense.
Yeah. So we take a small percentage. By the way, maybe when we will route more in a different scale, and maybe fees will be higher. Maybe we can do that for free. But for now, in order to offset some of our expenses, we do take a small fee when you open. When we open a channel on the fly and you don't have enough inbound liquidity,
and that's what a zero conf channel is. I mean, that it's opening a channel before the payment's settled on chain, right?
So two concepts, two terms, which serve different
turbo.
functions.
I guess it's a turbo channel, really.
One is a channel. It is creating channels on the fly. This actually is the ability that you need in order to open a channel in order to, as a response to receiving funds. That's one term. I don't like the use zero conf and turbo channels are the same. I don't like the marketing name of turbo channel, so I use zero conf because it exposed the nature of the channel. Zero conf channel means you trust Breez until the channel is confirmed. So zero conf channel provides the ability to spend the funds immediately after receiving them without waiting for on-chain confirmation. So you can install Breez, receive payment, and spend this payment immediately without waiting for on-chain confirmation. And this is a zero-conf channel. It's kind of different from channel on the fly, or from creating channels on the fly. So I think with this new infrastructure, this is stuff that we worked on during 2020 and still improving. I think this mitigates really the inbound liquidity issue, because you don't need inbound liquidity. The inbound liquidity is the inbound liquidity that users provide.
Got it.
So you don't need like a central entity and stuff like that. You need to, as an LSP, you need to have enough liquidity in order to serve dynamically the users that coming to your node and asking for channels to be created. But that's it. You don't need like we can talk about liquidity management after, but it's a complicated topic. The thing is that the main issue that it doesn't solve, unlike custodial solution. When you run a node on your mobile device, the node actually runs only when the app is active. Meaning you can receive funds only when the app is active. Now, there are ways to work around that. Like you can use GSM and mobile notification in order to wake the app and stuff like that, but it's really unreliable with the current mobile operating systems. And it's not a solution that is inherent to Lightning, meaning it's not self-contained in Lightning. What will happen if you want to run a Lightning application in your browser or in another device? So we need to have a way, in order really to be on par with custodial solutions, we need to have a way to receive payments even if you're not running your node actively.
Right, but that requires something in the cloud listening then, I presume.
Yes, that's definitely part of the solution. Maybe using other nodes in order to delegate the receive functions to other nodes in the network, nodes that you know that will be online. Maybe you use your own nodes in the cloud, like a watchtower. Like you have watchtower nodes that monitors.
This is very interesting. This is because, and this is where this is where the wallet metaphor has to go away. Because as I understand it, what you're saying is you can have a non-custodial solution as long as your key is on your phone for sending. Receiving doesn't really matter that much. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I think with solutions like PTLCs, there will be an option in Lightning to split the keys and to have different keys for different actions.
Oh.
So I can imagine in the future users will have a way to give receive keys to other nodes and tell them like I'm delegating the task of receiving payment to you.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
And use this key in order to do that, and I can revoke this key whenever I want. So the user can control the key. But if we will have the ability to split the keys, the Lightning keys to two different applications, one is for sending and the other for receiving, then I can delegate the node, because I don't want other nodes to spend my funds. But I can trust another node to receive funds on my behalf. The only thing that I'm losing is kind of the trust. There's a trust element that I trust this node to accept the funds on my behalf. That's the only downside.
Well, it reminds me of something like, it's a model very similar to POP3. So nobody runs their own email server, but we sort of delegate the receive ability to receive email on our behalf to some cloud server that we've chosen to trust for that function. And then our email clients just go and periodically pull those emails down that the other server has gotten for us on our behalf. And so we say, but when it comes to sending, I'll retain control of that myself, through an SMTP channel or route to that through their SMTP host. And I'll just do that on a one-off. I'm not going to let this email server just send things randomly that, as me. I retain control of that. But on the receiving side, I will let them receive on behalf of me.
Yes, exactly. I think that's a great analogy.
I like that. So that's something that we could do. We could be a mini LSP, I guess, in that case.
I think...
or do you want to stay away from that? I don't really want to do that, quite honestly.
Do what?
Anything. I just want you to do it, Roy. Can you just do everything and fix it for us? Because I'm a little tired.
No. But by the way, the thing also about specifically what we're trying to do in Breez, and I'm trying to onboard, and luckily there are people that we're working on, like the folks from Spiral. We're working together right now is to make the LSP functionality a standard. So I don't think it's a single vendor play. Breez, by the way, you can connect to other nodes in the network. I don't want to be the sole LSP. I want to be a liquidity market. I want to have competition around the liquidity. I think we need multiple LSPs. I think multiple LSPs and an open network in that regard creates competition. Competition creates better prices and better end user experience. So my goal is to have an open client where a user can connect to multiple LSPs and to choose the LSPs they want to interact with. I think that's the end goal.
And is this something that you also see being an important part of a self-custody LSP type deal at home on an Umbrel?
I think that's a key element. I think without a way to offload a cloud node to your home device, we're still at a censorship position. I think what the Umbrellas guys are doing with the infrastructure they're building, and other folks like Star9, it's a key element. It's part of the package, the ability to offload something from a cloud environment to your home environment.
Yeah, and I want to say I had a very, very nice experience with the Bitcoin Machines company. They basically put the Raspberry Pi and preload Umbrel in a box, a pretty little box that you... And I've always wanted this. I go back to the Cobalt Cube, which I think we've talked about on the show. I've always thought a home server would be great. And people have tried this. And for some reason, the minute they threw in Bitcoin, and even better, threw in Lightning, all of a sudden, this device is now, it's complete. It has everything you want. And, it has Nextcloud in there. I really think this is something big. And I don't know if you're familiar with Tailscale. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Tailscale it's built on, I think, the Wireshark protocol, but basically you install it on all your machines, and you have a VPN with your machines. And even if you have an Umbrel node at home running on Tor, you haven't popped any ports open, you don't have to do any of that. You just install Tailscale, and then it works. And in fact, it's so cool. I put a pihole on this new Umbrel. And you can then, through Tailscale, route all your traffic, even on your phone, through that pihole on your home network. I mean, these are really, really cool things that are happening. Yeah,
I definitely agree. Although I don't think that's the key to mass adoption. And where I'm focusing is on mass. Yeah, I don't think everyone will run. No. Don't
get me wrong, but I think there's a significant segment that sees the benefit of having all of their shit now at home. That is a segment, and I think it's important because those are your
part of the segment.
Right, but
I'm running an Umbrel node. Of course, and it's a key element of the solution. So if we'll have nodes running in the cloud, we will have. It's a must-have to have a way to take the information from the cloud nodes and run them in your home environment. I think it's part of the...
Yeah, you can take it right away and put it and just move it over. That's cool. Yeah.
And that's part of the solution, because if something gets censored in the cloud, and if I don't know which cloud environment voltage or I don't know other nodes providers are using, if it's not good enough, take your node, trust yourself, run it in your home environment.
Right. Man, the future's so bright.
Yeah, but it's it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I understand. It can be frustrating to at some point to interact with Lightning, and there's still caveats, and the payments are still failing. But our only
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that our only way to resolve that is to keep building and keep improving the existing tooling and keep working on fixing the problem, one problem after another.
The biggest problem with the Bitcoin community and the Lightning community is the community itself. Unfortunately, it's always like that. Something really angered me this past week. Are you familiar with PodPing, Roy?
No.
So PodPing is basically a blockchain-based messaging bus for podcasts.
And you're talking about the Hive.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what made me mad is that there was a specific use case for something that podcasting needs, and after many presentations, Dave, and then Dave, once Dave was on board, what do I need to talk about? I was like, okay, we were convinced that this was the right way to do it. Now it's based on Hive. And the Hive blockchain seems to be a lot more utility than shitcoin, although I guess technically it's a shitcoin. What was so disappointing is, we're very excited about PodPing. It's a future-proofing podcasting to the degree that we know it's, that blockchain is future-proofed. I see no way to do what PodPing does in, certainly not on-chain with Bitcoin, or with the Lightning Network. But the vitriol of people coming in and trashing people was just, this was a lot of different ranges of people within the community. But really, like, you need to stop right away, and then starting rumors, Adam Curry's a shitcoiner. It's like, holy crap. What is wrong?
The Bitcoin maxis just showed their ass this week.
We got that in our group as well, the Breez Telegram group as well. But I don't know, like, maxis have their role in the ecosystem. So if you can defend what you're saying, basically, that you use the Hive as a backend implementation infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
It's not part of the
payment system,
podcasting 2.0 compensation system in any way. But you use, from a technical standpoint, you chose to use blockchain as an alternative to a database.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to defend that decision. You need to have the ability to defend that decision, because I think what I didn't find a blockchain to be a better solution than existing databases. So if you can defend the solution, I think the maxis will be okay.
No, we can defend the solution. The maxis need to read what we're doing. What happens is the maxis come along and say, "Oh, Hive and podcasting. No, we own that."
But that's not open only with the maxis. The superficial discussions that is going on online, like, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just bitching about it because I felt really bad for Brian, because Brian has taken, first of all, he's taken more abuse from me than anybody. I have abused this man for 2 years, and he's a wonderful person. He's doing this for podcasting. He has his own Hive agenda, which is fine, and every 6 months I'll try and understand Hive again, and I give up. It's just I'm getting closer each time, but that's beside the point. It's just so destructive. That's all. Just stop doing that, people.
Yeah, I think the Steve Jobs thing of people have to mature into the Steve Jobs understanding of this, and what I'm specifically talking about, his famous statement that as Apple people, we need to stop thinking that Microsoft has to lose in order for us to win.
Yeah.
like if you're confident in the thing that you believe, then you don't have to have everything else lose in order for your thing to succeed.
But I'll be honest with you that if someone wants to do an implementation with stable coins or whatever shit coin, I mean, who am I to say no? I mean, the spec is open. You can do it with fiat if you want. If you want to pay the fees,
let the market decide.
Exactly, but the market. But this is so it was easy because the ETH people, they're here. The ETH people, they just yell at you whenever you go on Rogan. You know, it's like you didn't mention Ethereum. You said Ethereum sucks. So that's exactly what they sound like. Actually,
that's the ETH guy.
That's the ETH guy. And for them, it's really easy because I always say, "Where's your code, bitch? It's open. Where's your code? Where's your gas flowing through the system?" That's easy. But it's just when you get attacked from the behind, it's just always a little surprising. That's all. It's my first real experience, and I mean, I got friends. But
it's a feature. It's a feature, Adam. It's not a bug. It's a way for the community to strengthen itself. So,
Roy, you always know how to calm me down. I love that about you.
You know how much shit I got like doing Breez, like it's all around. It's going on. It will never stop, and I'm okay with that. Like it's part of being a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and I embrace that, and I love it because it allows me to reflect on our decisions. It allows us to improve. And I know that if I'm confident in my decision, in my technical decision, then I can explain it. And I stand behind my decision.
Right. No, but you know what? I've been in the public eye since I was 19. I've taken a lot of shit my whole life for a lot of different things. I'm just defensive of the people who are in the project. That's all. I'm just defensive when people just do that. It's like, But yeah, yes, I agree with you. In general, it's good because it does make you question. And I think Dave and I both have questioned. Everyone's questioned this. But, you know, from a technical standpoint, it's perfect. It's perfect for what we needed. And
we need another podcast in order to dive into that. I can tell you that personally, I saw many blockchain projects, and I still is not convinced in the like blockchain technology. Blockchain as a technology, I don't see a need. Like, but it's a topic for another podcast.
Well, we got. Do you want to thank some people, Adam?
I think we should definitely thank some people, Dave.
Right.
And I wanted to say that. Hold on a second. This is my favorite right now. I really love that one. We really appreciate everybody who supports the entire project, Podcasting 2.0. It's value for value. With a book forthcoming from Adam Curry and John C. Dvorak. We're going to write our book, the Value for Value book, about the genesis, how it works, how to do it. This is really needed right now in value for value land. People need a little bit of a roadmap, and we're going to give that book away, Value for Value. So that'll be the meta. The meta. We're not even going to make it. We're not going to print it. We're going to put it in PDFs. Every format.
Put it on the blockchain, one paragraph at a time.
Okay, we'll throw it in Hive, no doubt. Which means that there's and it's full disclosure. Roy and I talk regularly, not as regularly as we should, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. And usually I'm like, how can I make everyone some money on this thing? And Roy's answer is always, man, you're all going to be rich. Just stick close to me. Which sounds right. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But every single time we talk about projects and the funding, I always come back to the same thing. Is like, if Podcast Index, if this project had any outside funding other than honestly earned through API and fees, it would suck. It would, somewhere down the line, it would suck. So we made a very conscious decision. It's called the vow of poverty. It's how most podcasters start to really stick with it and move through it. Now, we do have costs. We do have stuff that needs to be paid for. And the more we do, the more it costs. And so people, we really appreciate you supporting us. Time, talent, and treasure are the 3 T's. on the treasure side, it's really quite interesting to me how the Bitcoin community loves what we're doing, love the use case. I have yet to see any company of significance support this project. It's okay. I'm just saying. So I would like to add today to our pitch. If you have a podcast and you're using value for value in podcasting 2.0, we've put our value, our node ID in the show notes. Feel free to add us to your split as an extra to help support. Feel free. We would really appreciate that. And it'd be extra cool because then we can also read some of your Boostagrams on our show. which I think
would make awesome sense. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? This just came to mind, Dave. That may be a problem. I got to think about that. I've seen Boostagrams show up that we were clearly put in a split. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't do this show. Why is this showing up? What is this for? It's really interesting.
This is all solved by pivot tables.
Exactly. So we, as part of the value for value loop, we love to thank everybody who supported us and read any messages, whether it's Fiat Fun writings or Boostagrams. Either way, we love both.
I like that. Fiat Fun Scribbles.
Fun. There you go. Fiat Fun Scribbles. There you go.
Doing the Fiat Fun coupons first. Marco Arment every month, $500.
Thank you very much, Marco.
One of a critical sustaining donation every single month. He comes in with $500, and I can't thank him enough. Thank you, Marco. Always. The other big donation that we got this month from Buzzsprout, $500 also.
Whoa.
Yep. And they that is a subscription.
That's a monthly subscription?
That's a monthly subscription, $500
Hell yeah.
from Buzzsprout.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Those two sustaining
Acast
donations.
sucks. Acast sucks.
That's the ad. That's the quid pro quo. Is that what that is?
That's okay. Right. You send us every single month. You send us that $500. I will tell everyone how bad Acast sucks.
Well, that just means Acast. Time to pony up.
But we don't accept money from Acast. Only if they Boostagram.
Okay. Fair and balanced. This is fair and balanced.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you to Buzzsprout. Appreciate that. Those two donations are so important. Thank you.
That actually feels really good to hear that.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like every month. Well, this is tax time for us. So Eric just finished our taxes, as the LLC.
How does this work? We didn't put any money in our pocket, but we're allowed to pay taxes over it?
I know. It's like last year I got a K1 that told me that I got like $1,000 or something like that. I'm like, where is that mythical $1,000 I supposedly got?
I didn't see it either. I was like, where did it go?
But then I got to put it on my tax return. I'm like, okay. So anyway, money is top of mind right now with having to pay these taxes. So, we got $10 donation from Stephanie Fuccio, podcast consultant and all around podcast genius. Thank you, Stephanie.
What does Stephanie do? Who does she work for? Do you know?
She's independent, I'm pretty sure. She's written some articles about podcasting 2.0. Been a big supporter of ours.
Oh, great.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephanie.
We got some Boostagrams. Clearly, that's our PayPal right there.
Yeah, there you go. Boost.
Yep. We got 1,000 sats from Veal. He gave us that's through Podfriend, and he just says pew pew.
Okay, so I just have to say, I thought it would be cute to leave my Umbral on in the studio. It's literally 5 arm lengths away. And for some reason, even though I would, during No Agenda, I would from time to time, I might hear it, it became a thing. And people were trying to trigger this Boostagram pew pew sound while my mic was open, while I wasn't playing a clip. And what happened is really, Dave, this is such a good sound. I've gotten 30 emails, people saying, dude, there's something weird with your sound. I hear like some like pew sound. Is there something? I know how much you appreciate sound. Something's wrong with that. that shit cuts through somehow.
Yeah, it breaks through the noise gate. It's the noise gate
buster
breaker. Yeah.
But I liked it when Sir Spencer had it running during your live show. I love hearing that.
Well, he must have had it piped in.
Oh yeah, no, it was direct. Piped in. No, it was direct. Yeah, and that makes a lot more sense. I just can't imagine that during No Agenda, Dvorak would go nuts.
Because on NA, what you get is like.
Although if I told him, I said, "Hey, that's money every single time it comes in," he might. Oh yeah, leave that on. Yeah,
he'd perk up. Yeah.
He might perk up.
Chad Farrow is perky with 3,333 sats through Fountain, and he says,
"Beautiful.
Do it for Mo."
Yeah.
Oh.
Boost. Chad has been. Mo was fired from his job.
Man,
over the mandates, but people stepped up, man. People boosting like 100,000 sats, 200,000 sats. It's been beautiful to watch.
It's
just
like
beautiful.
It's like free Kevin moment, It's like do it for Mo.
Yes.
Hashtag do it for Mo.
Indeed, do it for Mo.
Sir Spencer sent us 33,333 sats.
Woo! Nice, thank you.
Yes, through Fountain, and he says, "Hope this reaches you in time. Looking forward to your visit with us Sunday on Bowls with Buzz." Oh, that you read that last. That was a live boost
that was
during the show.
Yeah. We got some new ones too. I don't know if you saw them all.
Okay, so 5,000 sats through to Satoshi Stream through Fountain. He says, You mentioned Dave boosts too much. You mentioned Dave boosts too much. Are you okay with me telling what rank you are in terms of highest boosters in Satoshi Stream podcast?
Yeah, I told I told him yes, and he didn't get back to me.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that.
He makes it sound like I've been boosting a lot.
Oh, well.
I don't know.
Have you?
I am the badass booster.
Sir Doug through Fountain gave us 4,400 sats, and he just says boost.
Yo, boost.
Sir Doug, is that who is Sir Doug?
I
don't know. I'm just wondering if it's Doug from the chat room.
No. It's not Doug from the chat room. No.
Besiuk, he gave us 117 sats through Fountain, and he says, "We need a Deutsche boost. Go podcasting." Pew pew.
Wait, we talked about that. We read this one. Yeah, we read this one because I immediately got a tweet from some Germans. No, it was from him, actually. He tweeted me and said, we snuck into Podcasting 2.0 board meeting. We need a German boost.
Oh, okay.
So that's an
old
one.
I don't remember this one from
By the way,
week,
I know what we call it. We call it Das Boost.
Das Boost. I don't remember this one from last week.
Yeah, I'm weird that way.
Oh, you know what? Okay, here we go. Satoshi Stream came in later, and he says, Dave is the largest booster ever to Satoshis.stream podcast. Number 2 boosted, number 2 boosted half. I don't know what that means.
That means whoever the number 2 is boosted half the amount you boost.
Oh, so I basically own.
You own.
I own Boostagrams.
You are paying me a lot.
Okay, this is just circular money. This is a circular.
Well, that's the point. That's exactly what you want, Roy. Isn't that it? Isn't this circular money? Isn't it? Aren't we proving the whole thing here?
And not specifically in that example, but generally.
You're using. Stop using science and math, Roy.
Yeah, really. Party pooper. Yeah.
He says, "Oh, look at this." He says, "Adam is number 8."
What? I'm a loser. What is this?
You're not. You're almost outside the top 10.
Holy crap! I'm not used to this.
Chat streamer.
Well, I have to up my boosting game. Now, is that number of boosts or overall value of boosts?
It doesn't say here, so clearly Satoshi Stream needs to boost us again.
Yep, and let us know.
And explain more.
Yes.
This is unclear, yes.
Roy, this really works. That's the great part. The gamification is so hard. I'm so lovely. People literally say, this is one of the most enjoyable ways to part with my money.
Yeah, I'm boosting right now for Breez because I didn't hear Breez yet.
Well,
it
hasn't come through yet. No,
here's a Breez right here.
We got Breez is always number 1 or number 2 every day.
Yeah,
you're up there.
Yeah,
you're not number 8. Let's put it that way.
It's 100 sats through the Breez app, and it just says morning test.
Yeah, Breez users are cheap asses, man. That's what I'm seeing here. They're 100 sats. Thanks.
117 sats from Besiuk. Oh, well, there you go. Again, is we need a Deutsche Boost. This is a different boost.
Das Boost. Wo ist das Boost?
Besiuk is got Alzheimer's. I mean, he's really struggling. He keeps boosting things he's already boosted.
Wait, I got the Alzheimer's boost. By the way, not anything bad against Alzheimer's because it sucks.
Oh, no, I'm just, sorry. Didn't mean to neglect it. No. Senile. Let's say that he's senile.
Yeah. There you go.
Mary Oscar, also known as Oscar Mary, sent us 22,222 sats, a big little row of ducks through Fountain, of course.
Nice.
And he says, until March 1st, all new Fountain users who listen to a podcast will get 1,000 free sats to try out Value for Value. Go podcasting.
Ooh, now that's some podcasting. That's some onboarding right there. Roy?
Yeah, I'll never do that.
No, he won't. I know he won't. I would
never give up free sats.
Hey, but Roy, let me ask you a question. If I gave you 1,000 sats to give to your new users, would you do it?
I can't keep the
He would take a fee. He would take a
fee of it. Yes, I'll give them 800. No, but that's a serious question, though. If we had someone who wanted to help, okay, we have a use case. We have someone who wants to help people onboard onto Bitcoin and immediately give them a sign-up bonus of free Satoshi sent to any wallet they want. I'm sorry. Sorry?
I don't like. I saw like dozens of initiatives like that, and it never works.
Tell me why. What are the pitfalls?
Because you don't get the quality users. What you get people that wants to use the free sets and they don't use it for good.
They use it for evil.
What happens typically if users don't understand the meaning of Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin, the sats won't go anywhere.
If it's loaded in the context of a podcast app,
and you make them spend it, maybe, but you need a way to make them spend the sats.
Right?
Okay,
yeah.
What about this? You give them 1,000 sats, and if they haven't spent it within 5 days, it all goes to me.
Perfect.
Okay,
we'll start working on that, Dave.
Done.
Problem solved.
Done.
Yes.
We like that.
No, but generally speaking, I don't really like buying users.
Yeah, it is the way of the world. Of course, that's how the current world works with users. I appreciate.
That's what we want to change. Right?
I know. That's why I appreciate what you're saying about understanding the value. That's a very good point.
It's value for value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's value in this 1,000 sats that you're giving up for.
It's a problem that you're this practical, Roy.
I know. We should never invite him back.
Yes, this is way too much capitalism.
Buzzkill.
333 sats from Cole McCormick through Fountain, and he says, I started my own podcast called America Plus. I talk about innovation happening in the world and in myself. Still learning how to create chapters, but I can sure accept sats. Okay. All right.
Boost. Nice, man.
Yeah, thank you, Cole. God, we got so many. We got to move. We got so many Boostagrams here. 100 sats through Breez, and it just says bleep.
Boost.
Okay. No name or anything. From Franco Solario. Yeah, cheap.
Again, I'm just saying.
Franco Solario through Castomatic sent us 5150 sats.
Ooh,
Van Halen boost.
That's right. 5150 is you have to go to the insane asylum, isn't it?
I don't know. What is that?
5150 is the code for the cop. That's why Van Halen used it. Is the cop code for, I'll give you the exact. Go ahead, read the note, and I'll tell you what it is.
So Franco sent us 5150 through Castomatic, and he says, is it a problem if every time I have to debug some value for value issue in Castomatic, I send you some money? That is not a problem, Franco. That is absolutely not a problem. We actually encourage it.
5150 is the number of the section of the Welfare and Institutions Code which allows a person with a mental challenge to be involuntarily detained for a 72-hour psychiatric evaluation.
Oh, okay.
Also known as Baker acting, I think. You can do it to your kid.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. That actually might come in useful sometimes.
Yes. Hey, kid, 51. That's why they put it in there. That Van Halen had humor.
Mere Mortals podcast, our buddy Kyron Downs sent us a super rush boost, 21112.
Woo! Boost!
And he says, Jave Dones sounds like the bad boy developer your rebellious daughter brings home. He plays fast and loose with the law, but faster and looser with code.
Oh, yeah.
He'll break your API and then break your heart. Hide your kids. Hide your kids, hide your pod ping, and hide your sats because he's data scraping everybody out of here. Here's my contribution to bring this about. Thank you, Kyron. Appreciate it.
That guy, he's a poet.
He is a poet. In like freaking 12 languages. The guy's a polymath.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyron. Martin from Podfriend.
Hey!
25,932 sats.
Boom shakalaka. You notice that Martin comes back and the comments just accelerated a little bit somehow. Something happened.
Yeah, because he's such a bright, like he's a ray of sunshine.
He is, yes, a ray of Danish sunshine. He's our tasty Danish. My whole goal in life, by the way, is to make you laugh, Dave. That's all I'm here for. And I'll be here all week, just so you know.
Okay. Podfriend, the tasty Danish developer, Martin sent us 25,932 sats, and he says, "Hello, world." I guess he's doing some tests, and we are beneficiaries of this.
Yeah. How you doing, Booster?
Thank you, Martin.
Hello, world.
Cass Peeland, 6,600 sats through Fountain, and he says, "Haha, the pew pew in the NA show. Let me think of the sound." Let's see. The pew pew in the NA show. Let me think of the sound on, let's say, OnlyFans. We're a bunch of sluts, and it works. Thanks for the show. Boost.
Which reminds me. What happened to your OnlyFans, Roy? I thought you were going to do an OnlyFans Satoshi version.
Yeah, we got distracted a bit, but we'll do that.
Yeah,
OnlyFans, it'll distract you.
OnlyFans.
Yes,
that's the service that everyone's waiting for.
Okay. Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming.
I know. What, you okay, Dave?
Yeah.
You don't think that's true? I know, Roy. He means that. I mean, you can do anything you want with it, but OnlyFans is just a version.
No, I got you. I'm laughing about something else.
Okay.
Because he's talking about OnlyFans. He said it's coming, and that's
no. Believe me. In my mind, I said get some tissue, but I don't do that joke anymore.
I can't help it. You called me out. I had to admit it. Sorry, I'm a 12-year-old.
Perpetually.
Yes. Okay. N4VX sent us 1,234 sats, and he says, "Pew pew. Thank you for your coding." Well, you're welcome. And he sent that through CurioCaster. Let's see, 2222 sats from B Mozzie from Brian. Sent it through Fountain. He says, "Spew those sats."
Yeah, we like spewing sats. Yeah.
Primitive One. Interesting. Gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sats.
Nice.
And he says, "My hood friend and I want to do a podcast about cover songs." I think that you should. Yes.
We actually talked about this on the Mastodon. You gotta be careful.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Coverville is the only podcast that has really done that successfully, but you gotta do a lot of clearances, and especially if you're receiving sats, just be careful on that.
Oh, that's because of
there's music rights. Yeah. You can just get in some shit there. So consult a lawyer. Sorry to say it.
John's BRT sent us 49,000 sats.
Whoa.
Through Fountain.
Wait, is he a baller for today?
I'm looking through the list. Yeah, he's the baller.
Shot collar, 20-inch blades on the Impala.
Boost.
Nice.
And he says, "Stacking sats and harvesting hive." Nice, I like it. Thank you, John's BRT. 70. Let's see. What's a 7777? Is that we got a name for that?
Sack of sevens.
Sack of sevens from Harry Durand from the Podcast Junkies. And he gave us, that's your fountain. He says, I never thought an episode about building the future of podcasting could be so damn sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Pew, pew, pew. Harry Duran, Podcast Junkies. Let's see.
Holy crap. How many more do we have, Dave?
We got a few more.
Jeez.
1,000 sats from Mollusk. And he says, wondering about how Adam is doing in his journey with Linux and podcasting. Go podcasting.
Yeah, go podcasting. Well, go podcasting! Linux is still kind of, and please don't email me. Linux is still kind of incompatible with the way I work with audio. Let's just put it that way.
He sent us the exact same message again. So I'm thinking what happened is he's using Breez and he machine gun boosted.
Let's see. I'm liking this feature now.
This is a high quality feature, Roy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen B. Oh, I'll have to send you what this looks like. It's Stephen B, but the B is the Bitcoin symbol.
Ooh.
Nice one.
Oh, I see it here. Ooh, this is 1111?
It's 3417 through CurioCaster. And he says, a live 3417 boost in honor of Bowl After Bowl's first live item show. Yeah, and I'll have to say that Stephen B and CurioCaster, he's on the bleeding edge of every new feature that comes out of Podcasting 2.0. And he really was helpful for that. Even
today in Sovereign Feeds, Roy, you've got to check out sovereignfeeds.com. You can literally take any podcast and you can output a fully 2.0 compatible feed. All the features are in there. And he made it because he added something for the cross-app comments. I think you have to have the platform and the method. So it's ActivityPub Mastodon. And I opened up Sovereign Feeds and literally said right there, Adam, this is where you need to put this. I mean, he's coding shit in personally for me. That was so hot.
Not a bad idea, by the way. Always a good idea.
I don't know if that's a slam or not, but I'll take it.
No, not a slam at all. Okay. No. When you know that your user has specific, you know that your users have specific, or when you can anticipate as a developer that a specific section of your users are going to have questions, it's always the right thing to guide them in the app itself rather than to wait for a support request. Well, that's what I'm saying. No, it wasn't at you. That's exactly the way as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I think the best apps do that. It's like, hey, I already know that this is going to be a problem. Right. Let's tell them in the app.
But it actually said Adam. That was the fun thing.
Okay.
It didn't just say, here's what it's Adam, put this in here. Okay.
Okay, now that's a different story.
What's the URL, Adam?
Sovereignfeeds.com.
Floridian Slips gave us 5,000 sats. And he says, thanks for all your work on 2.0. Can you recommend a channel for questions to be directed? I'm having issues with the index and boosting. Figured I would try with a boost to get some info. Well, yeah, the channel is podcastindex.social.
So interesting that I'm missing some of these Boostagrams.
Oh, are you? Well, these are selectable, so.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. They may not have chosen to include.
Or what I'm always worried about, since this is just a monitor, it's 1% split. I'm always worried that that's just not getting through.
I think it depends on the app that it comes through. Because like in Cast-O-Matic, if you boost, it comes up and you can choose who you want to boost. And one of the selections is everyone.
Yeah, well, most of them have that, I think.
With Breez, if you boost, it just goes to everybody always.
I actually don't like that feature anymore.
What?
No, I'd like everyone in the. I'd like everyone. It's so kind of rude. It's like I'm excluding someone. It was intended to give someone an extra boost, which I don't think it's used for.
Oh, you mean like it should always go to everybody? Like
that's my personal feeling. Yeah.
Well, can't. Yeah, coder's going to code.
That's right. That's right. That's why I use Breez, because I can. You can't choose who you send it to, and you can just be a lowlife and send 30 sats.
Enabling monetizing trolls. That's what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
Anonymous sent us 10,000 sats through Cast-O-Matic, and he just says free media.
Yay!
Free media.
Now, did you not? Oh no, that's a different one. I'm sorry. Yes, got it. 10,000. Nice. Thank you. Bill
Prague sent us 3,000 sats through Podfriend, and he says, "Don't be a maxi. Go podcasting." Go podcasting. Oh, C-Dubs, 3333 through the Boost CLI shell script.
Nice.
He sent, let's see, he sent a link.
No, that definitely didn't go to me. That's a direct key send, I think.
Oh, okay. So he sent a link, and this is a link to his to the Boost Bots GitHub repo where they're working on all the different connectors to send Boost to IRC and Mastodon. And he said,
nice.
Yeah. And he said, we're working on Matrix next.
Woo! You hear that, Roy? Matrix? Are you guys still working on that?
It's on the back burner right now.
Everything I say to Roy is like, "Are you all right, Roy? Are you okay?"
I'm good. Okay. It's, a lot of boosts. Like, just
dude,
for the boosts to be over.
Well, do you want to leave?
No.
Okay. All right. This is the best part of the show.
But Martin from Podfriend, we have a series of 100.
Oh, he's definitely testing.
Yeah, he's doing some tests. 100. I'm just giving him credit. Quick credit for these. 100, it's like 1,000 sats of Boost.
I think you missed 100, Dave.
Okay, all right. So an extra 100 from Roy. And that was all from Martin doing testing. And then we got Floydian Slips again with 500 sats, and he says, testing your splits. See, this is exactly the way you fund open source projects.
Yes.
It's through testing things with money.
Testing things with money is a beautiful... Yes. Ed, there's another t-shirt, Podcasting 2.0. We test shit with money.
Yeah, I like it. Testnet is for wets. I like that. That's the way. Everything everywhere. Gary Arndt sent us 3,141 sats, and he says that's through Fountain. And he says, just returning the love to Dave, who still remains the only person who has boosted my podcast. Gary Arndt, everything everywhere daily.
Aww.
How you doing, Booster?
You know, Gary, I am the number one booster on
That's right. I mean, you should have a little badge next to your name on the Mastodon. I'm going to do that.
Number one booster.
That's right. Wow, that was gay.
Thanks. Comic Strip Blogger gave us. He's the delimiter.
Here he is. That's end of donation segment almost.
10,033 sats through Podfriend, and he says, "Howdy, Dave and AC. I hope you are not invaded by Russia yet, like my Slavic brothers in Ukraine are. And you're warmly welcome to listen to our podcast about AI called AI.Cooking, read by former famous actor and pub owner Gregory William Forsyth Foreman. Just type in your web browser or any podcast app, AI.Cooking. Yo!
Don't just stand there. Boost!
Comic Strip Blogger gets it, man. He gets it. Yep. He's sending sats to every single podcast with his message, and he's getting it out there. I love it.
We got to let Roy go to bed. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning there.
We're almost done.
Actually, want to go out.
Okay. Are you a partier, Roy? You go out and party?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know. I mean, whenever I envision you, I just don't envision you as a party guy.
It depends how you define a party.
Well, I'm coming to Israel, so you're going to
you define a party.
That's right. You're going to show me your party. I can't wait.
Well,
I want to.
My favorite Roy story is when we were in Miami, and Roy can't get an Uber, and his card failed, his credit card or something. Yeah, the card failed, and so then Roy gets onto Breez, buys like a Uber card, a gift card through Bitrefill, and Ubers himself out of there in like 5 minutes.
That was very slick. It was very slick. Yeah.
Okay, so we got some monthly donors here. Just to wrap it up, we've got Pod News at $50, Keith Gibson at $50, Dwayne Goldie at $8, Paul Erskine at $11.14, Michael Goggin at $5, Charles Curran at $5, Christopher Reamer at $10, Sean McCune at $20, Cone Glotzbach at $5, James Sullivan at $10, Stu Coates at $6.66, and Jordan Dunville at $10. That wraps up our group.
And the last Boostagrams that came in during the show, Sir Spencer sent us 2 boosts, 33,369 sats each. Ooh. With a duplicate message. So I don't know if he meant to do that, but he did because they were an hour apart. Thank you for helping us make podcasting history. Shout out to Rare Encounter with Abel Kirby and Cold Acid, who also implemented live this week. Go podcasting! Love from Sir Spencer, Dame DeLorean, and Bowl of After Bowl. Go podcasting! We love that.
Nice.
Love that. Thank you, Sir Spencer. Thank you so much for doing that. That was just beautiful. Roy, you got to get helipad, man.
Okay.
On your own, bro.
Yeah. But I then I'll have to start doing a podcast, right? I want to see the boost coming.
I'll be your first guest.
I like the Das Boost. Das Boost.
But Roy, I have to say, and I want to thank you so much. Really, thank you for your trust in the project. Thank you for your dedication, your team as well. Even though we know you do everything.
Come on. First, I don't do anything. That my team is doing all the job. I'm just going on podcast talking about it. But it really should be me thanking you guys. Like, first, you're my two favorite people in the whole world. Dave is amazing. Dave is amazing. I don't know if everyone knows how amazing Dave is.
I do. I'm raising my hand. I know how amazing Dave is. He's amazing.
You're making me blush, man.
And you're an inspiration, Adam. Really,
Well, thank you. Still, you put your business on the line for this, and that's appreciated. And you are a confidant of mine because you're the one that always takes the time to explain this shit when I'm like, what is going on? And Roy likes to gossip like me. I think we share that. He pretends that we don't do it. We gossip about everybody. We have our little tea session.
Girl chat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Part of the process.
But what is happening here is way beyond anything I could have imagined. We took a concept, the value for value concept, and we translated it. And this that's happening now, it took me 10 years to get that going with PayPal. Even to some degree like that. The immediacy, everything that's happening, it is so exhilarating, so exciting. And I think this, to me, this is the onboarding that we need at this moment. Yeah. It is because people understand value when they do it. They understand feeling good about the value. It feels incredibly good. And I did with my wife, we started a podcast, Curry and the Keeper. Only podcasting 2.0. I'd never submitted it anywhere else, only into the Index. Self-hosted, everything. We were running the node at home, and within 30 minutes of putting our first episode out, the joy of just little bits of sats streaming in was like 20 years ago when we started podcasting. It is so cool.
Amazing.
It really is. And appreciate everything you're doing, and we look forward to hopefully using your LSP offerings in the future. Yeah, we will. Our purpose is to spread this joy, right? Yeah.
It doesn't need to be only in the Breez app or the Fountain app. It needs to be everywhere in every podcasting app, and part of our job is to find the right ways to do that.
Awesome. Yeah,
definitely.
In a safe way. And I love that. I love that y'all are so committed to to non-custodial and making all that stuff work in a true way.
Yeah.
Peer-to-peer, baby. You don't have a peer-to-peer, baby, like sound. That's what we need.
And I always appreciate talking to you, and this was no exception being on the show, because you do help us think. Yeah. You really do. You put us in a good frame of mind. You're pretty unique that way, my brother. You're pretty unique that way. Yes.
You.
That's it. You can put that on a t-shirt. My name's Roy. I'm unique.
I help people think.
Yes, you do. No, you do. You do. All right, Dave, you got to get back to the day job, I guess.
That's it.
Are they mad at you again? Because you're always late now on Friday.
No, not late.
They think you've taken a lover.
No, I'm working like 50 to 60 hours a week right now. I'm good.
Brother. They did what? Because tax season is coming up again?
Yeah, it's just tax time.
Crazy. Yep. All right, that's it for the board meeting. Roy, thank you so much. We'll have you on again soon. Whenever you're ready, feel free to abuse us. We love it. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Roy. We'll be back next week with another board meeting of Podcasting 2.0. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then. Boost!
You have been listening to Podcasting 2.0. Visit podcastindex.org for more information.
Go podcasting!